What is going on, everyone? Welcome back in to Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube, and today I'm going to preview the first Final Four matchup between the number 1 seed, the Virginia Cavaliers, and the number 5 seed, the Auburn Tigers. Let's start off with the only number 1 seed remaining in the tournament, that is the Virginia Cavaliers, and what a story it would be if Virginia can win the whole thing, because last year they were the first ever number 1 seed in March Madness tournament history to go down against the number 16 seed where they lost to UMBC last year. But here they are, a year later, the only number 1 seed still left standing in this tournament in the Final Four. So this is head coach's Tony Bennett's first ever time in the Final Four. His father, Dick Bennett, took the Wisconsin Badgers to the Final Four 19 years ago. For the first time for Virginia, this is the first time since 1984 they're making an appearance for the school in their program inside the Final Four, as on paper this Virginia team looks incredible on both sides of the basketball, on the defensive end and the offensive end as well. We'll start off with that defense, as Virginia has the best defense in all college basketball. They allow the fewest points to college basketball teams this season, only allowing their opponents to score 55.4 points per game on the season, as Virginia has allowed 10 of their opponents to score less than 50 points in games this season. One of those games was against a top 25 ranked team, the Wisconsin Badgers, where the Virginia Cavaliers only allowed the Badgers to score 46 points in that contest. Another game was the one in the Sweet 16 where they only held the Oregon Ducks to 49 points in that game. In Virginia, they're also tied for first in college basketball with the Houston Cougars for fewest three-point shooting percentage on the season, as Virginia, they only allow their opponents to shoot a low 28% from three-point range this year. And three-point range, it could tell because one of those games was against rival Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a top 10 three-point shooting team in the nation this year. Virginia held their rival Hokies of Virginia Tech to shoot a dismal 3 for 28 in the second game that they faced against them this season. That equates to 11% from three-point shooting range. So aside from being tied for that best three-point defensive team in the nation in all college basketball, Virginia, they're also top 10 in all college basketball when it comes to the offensive end when they shoot the three ball. Three-point shooting percentage from the outside, Virginia ranks top 10 in all college basketball as well. They convert around 41% of their shots from behind the arc. They have 3 top 10 shooters in the ACC conference that can shoot the three ball, led by Kyle Guy, second in the ACC, converting 46% of his three-point shots this season. DeAndre Hunter, he ranks 4th in the ACC in three-point shooting, and Ty Jerome ranks 7th in the ACC in three-point shooting. So Virginia, they don't make too many mistakes either with the ball, as they are tied for first in the nation of fewest turnovers per game, and in the last 3 games of this tournament, they've only turned over the ball combined 19 times. So Virginia, they stayed alive in this tournament. They were down against Purdue with the final seconds left, but a huge precise pass by Kihei Clark. It went to Mamadi Diakite, who hit the right side baseline jumper and hit that game-tying buzzer beater right before the buzzer went off to send Virginia into overtime to play some extra time against Purdue, and that's where Virginia got the W to make it here to the Final Four. But in order for Virginia to make it even further into the tournament, to the national championship, for them to stay alive here, they need to stop the 2 leading scorers for the Auburn Tigers. That is Bryce Brown and Jared Harper. And what Bryce Brown and Jared Harper have done for Auburn is that they've been able to drain open three-pointers in transition. Brown and Harper combined for Auburn's 50 out of 77 points in the Elite 8 matchup versus Kentucky. So that's where we'll go to next. We'll preview the Auburn Tigers in this one, as this is the Cinderella of all college basketball this season. The number 5 seed, the Auburn Tigers, as they've won 3 elite programs in a row right here. The Kansas Jayhawks, the North Carolina Tar Heels as a number 1 seed. They beat in the last game in the Elite 8, the Kentucky Wildcats, the first ever Final Four in the history of the Auburn Tigers program, and they've done it without star rebounder Chuma Okeke. Is also the 3rd leading scorer on the team. He tore his ACL in the Sweet 16 matchup against North Carolina, but even when Okeke wasn't on the court for the rest of the game against North Carolina, Auburn, they still outscored UNC in the remaining minutes 21-18 when Okeke wasn't on the court for the last 8 minutes and 8 seconds of that game. They put up 97 points on the board to beat UNC in that one. And here we are, the Cinderella. They lost to Kentucky twice in the regular season. And then in the postseason, in the Elite Eight, they beat them a third time. You know how hard it is to beat a team after you've lost to them 2 times in a row. It's pretty hard to come back out and try to beat them once, a third out of time number 3, but they did get it done. So Auburn, what they've done well throughout this entire tournament, they've shot the ball well from the floor. They shot the ball 53% from the field against Kansas in the round of 32. Shot the ball 55% against North Carolina. They also forced a ton of turnovers in this tournament. They forced 60 total turnovers in their first 4 games inside this NCAA tournament. As Auburn, what they do well is they steal the ball. They're a top 5 stealing team in the nation right now in college basketball. They average 9 steals per game. They stole the ball off Kentucky 10 times in that Elite 8 matchup. Rebounding, that might be a problem for Auburn in this one without their leading rebounder, Chuma Okeke. They're a negative 34 right now, minus 34 on the boards in the first 4 games of the tournament for Auburn. But they actually beat Kentucky on the offensive rebounds in the last game. So the game will come down to if Auburn can hit those big 3-point shots from the outside going against the number 1 3-point shooting defense in all college basketball, the Virginia Cavaliers. Auburn, they need to hit those 3-point shots in transition like they've been doing this entire tournament. Led by Bryce Brown and Jared Harper, Auburn as a team is shooting 49 out of 121 shots from 3-point range. That equates to 40% from 3-point range in the tournament. They've averaged as a team around 33-point shots average that they've attempted in this tournament in their 4 tournament games. Auburn, they've also scored a ton of points. They rank first in the tournament out of all tournament teams, averaging 85 points per game so far in their first 4 games in the tournament, and that includes putting up 77 points against the top 30 defense that was the Kentucky Wildcats in the Elite 8. So that's basically it, guys. That's a wrap-up of my Final Four preview between the number 1 Virginia Cavaliers and the number 5 seed, the Auburn Tigers. So it's Virginia's top 3-point shooting defense going up against a highly reliant Auburn 3-point shooting offense. We're going to see what goes on in this game, but before you go, make sure to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new to my channel as well, as I'll be calling play-by-play of both of the Final Four games in the national title game on Monday, April 8th. So also, in the comments, let me know who you like in the matchup, who you want to go to the national title game, and who you like here in the Final Four. Let me know, Virginia or Auburn. Also, check out my Final Four prediction I'll put down in the description below of Michigan State going up against Texas Tech. So I'll put that link in the description below. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been a presentation of Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. And this is Final Four style with Virginia versus Auburn. The preview here on my YouTube channel.